Hello and welcome to part 7 of turbocharging my C180 compressor. And if you know, you know, and if you don't know, here's a little fun fact. And that is that we are not using the old 1.8 litre supercharged engine that came with the car, but this is a 1995 M104 3.2 litre inline 6-cylinder out of a Mercedes-Benz E320. And like they say, there's no replacement for displacement, or is there? So it turns out there is, but what if you take that and add it to a big displacement engine? This is going to be interesting. Basically, in the last couple of episodes, we got the engine ready and built everything for the turbo. And here you can see the turbo manifold I built for the car, as well as a downpipe that connects to a 3-inch or 76mm straight pipe exhaust. And not too long ago, we got to hear it for the first time. Just after that, we had to remove the engine from the car to sort out the oil return line for the turbo so that it can go into the oil pan. And while the engine was out, I also went ahead and got the wastegate on there. But the nice thing about this engine is that it's very basic and easy to do for a beginner like me. But it is still a lot of work taking the engine out of the car and putting it back in. So I thought while the engine was out, the next weakest link was going to be the clutch. So I removed the old clutch and took it in so that they can build me a button clutch. And it finally arrived yesterday. So let's step over there and I'll show you how it looks. Tell you what, I'm super excited about this and I hope you guys are too. Because after installing this, we can finally go ahead and get the engine back in the car. And again, if you are a car guy, please consider subscribing to my channel and remember to hit the little like button. I would really appreciate it. But let's see what we have over here. Alright, so they removed this from the old clutch, and then here we have the new 4-button copper clutch. I wanted to go with more buttons, but they recommended the 4-button would work perfect for me. So I guess we'll have to see. I have the engine in the middle of the garage because I had to get some photos for the gram. So you can follow me on Instagram. I do leave all my social media down below if you want to show me your build or get into contact with me. It's always nice hearing from you guys. But before we get the gearbox off, I want to go ahead and get a new oil filter in there, because when the engine is in the car, this is pretty close to the firewall. So I want to change that out. And while I cleaned the engine and the gearbox, at one stage I had the gearbox laying on its side and some of the transmission fluid spilled out. So I have some new transmission fluid. I'm just going to get the old fluid out of there and just replace it with brand new fluid. So let's get the gearbox off, change the fluid, get the filter in there, and then we can get started on the clutch. Right, so I got the gearbox off and there's 2 plugs I need to remove. So the first one is on the side, that's the filler plug, and then when you look underneath the gearbox we have the drain plug. But I only have this little set of Allen keys and I didn't have a big enough one, so I tried to use this. I don't even know what you call this, but obviously that didn't work. I welded some 17mm nuts to a bolt and I have the breaker bar over here, so let's see if this will work. Oh, yes. There we go. Woo. And then while I was waiting for that one to cool off, I found these rusty old Allen keys, so this one will fit over there. So looking at the drain plug, there's some shavings. So that's probably not good. Guess we'll see. Let's close this up and then we can go ahead and start on the clutch. Ooh, about an hour later, got the gearbox on there, got the starter back on there, and then I went ahead and got the turbo off just to make it easier to move around. So I guess let's get the car pushed in here and I'll show you how I do that. After getting the engine back where it belongs, and what a great feeling that is, the car had to sleep outside for one more night while I clean up the garage so that we can push it inside and work a bit more comfortably in here. I'm really glad I took the time to clean up the engine. It's looking real good if I do say so myself. And here we are in the garage getting ready to put this thing back together. Did I mention how cool these gauges came out? I didn't show much of it in the video where I built them. Very happy with how it turned out. So over the weekend I got the car in here, got it in the air, and got everything connected and bolted up that needs to be down there. I've seen way too many videos of cars falling on people working under there, so I don't waste any time down there. So I just got that done, and now we can move on to getting everything up front done. And in all honesty, we are pretty close to getting this thing to fire up again. And now we just have to get everything back together the way it was with some new pieces like the intercooler. So I've started figuring that out. The radiator needs to go back, a couple of things. But let's not waste any more time and get this thing put back together, because I really want to try and start it in this video. Alrighty then, so I actually got a lot of work done yesterday, but I wasn't going to be able to start the car then because I needed a little fitting that goes over there to seal it up. So these little things, I had to drive like 30 minutes to get them, but now we will be able to start the car because without that the oil would just pour out of there. Then I spent the rest of yesterday and yesterday evening finishing up the boost pipe. So my first time working with stainless steel, and I have to say it's pretty amazing. It's much cleaner than mild steel, so I wish I made everything out of that, but it is kind of expensive, so that's why I didn't. But I have all the boost pipes ready to go in. I guess let's go ahead and get this thing put back together, get the radiator on there, the intercooler. I had to build a bracket for the intercooler, so that's done. And yeah, then I guess we'll try and see if it'll start. And just like that, we should be ready to have a go at starting this thing. So I got the battery connected, everything plumbed up. I got oil in the car. I do not have water in there yet, and no power steering fluid. I think that'll be fine for now. On this side, I have the gauges just like that now, because I want to check the oil pressure gauge that it doesn't leak behind over here, and then get oil back behind the dashboard. So we don't want that. Just unplugging the lights to try and save the battery. It has like a day-night switch thing in here under the sticker, but that's the first time I've had any issues with that. But let's go behind over here and then turn on the fuel pump, see if we have any leaks. Right, check it out over here. Alright, so no fuel leaks, but I'm going to turn it off again. So that I can swing the engine a couple of times just to get oil pressure and check over if there's any leaks. Let's see what happens. There we go. Get it up, and then should be good over there. Let's see if there's any leaks. Okay, so usually there's a leak, so we have nothing over there. We are dry. Let's just look under the car like that. We are good, it seems to be. Just check the feed line. That's dry. See over here. Get my hand down here for the return line. That's dry. Feed line over here is dry. And then the return line under the turbo also seems to be good. So yeah, let's turn on the fuel pump and then see if it will fire up. Whew. Okay, moment of truth. This has been a long time in the making, but I guess let's see what happens. Fuel pump is on. We have the ECU over there. Let's see what happens. I'm going to show you the gauges. Hopefully all of them work. What? We have vacuum, we have RPM, we have oil pressure. Let's go. Let's see if there's any leaks. Seem to be good. Nothing under the car. The turbo just, it wants to spin. Come on. Help it a bit. There we go. Turbo spinning on idle. Dang. So let's see if the clutch works. Very soft. Yep, clutch works. We are good to go. Let's freaking go. I can't believe it started that easy. And now that we have the boost pipes connected, it also sounds much more responsive than before. We don't have any leaks or anything like that, so everything is good on that side. I want to get coolant in here. I want to get the steering fluid in there. And then I'm going to take off the rear tires tonight and go get them aired up. But I think that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, I want to take this thing out on the road and test the clutch and get it up to temperature, everything like that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then.